Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's C. Right now, I'm clearing up my messy workspace and getting everything ready for today's video. As a self-taught jewelry maker, I don't really follow strict rules. I just share what actually works for me through trial and error. Today, I'm excited to finally show you what I promised, a detailed tutorial on filing and sanding a piece of jewelry to get that smooth, shiny finish. If you are here because you're curious or just want to learn more, I'll make sure each step is clear and easy to follow. Alright, let's get to work. These sticks are used for filing and are coated with sandpaper. There are many different brands available, and I bought this set at the beginning of my jewelry journey along with the soldering kit. Here is a quick overview of the sandpapers I'm using. This set includes 400 grit, but unfortunately the 600 grit was not included, so I attached a separate 600 grit sheet. After that, there is 800 grit sandpaper. And then there is 1200 grit sandpaper. Next, I'm gonna be using a 2000 grit sandpaper. Comes in the orange color. 2500 grit sandpaper in the yellow color. I believe this brand goes up to 3000 grit, but I never really use it. Instead, I'm using another type of sandpaper that I roll around on a piece of wood. This is my smoothest option. I've also heard that you can replace this with leather, and I've tried it too. It does give a really shiny finish if you follow the steps properly, but for today, I'll be using these sandpapers only, no leather. And in this box, I'm going to show you what I'm DIYing here. I have a 400 grit sandpaper that I attach on an old credit card. Thanks to the rigidity of the card, I get to work easier around the surface. And I also tried different support. As you can see, this sandpaper is rolled around a bamboo chopsticks, but I didn't really like it though. So this one is my favorite tool to give a satin finish, which is a steel wool. It's a bundle of a very fine soft steel fibers. I bought it at the market, so I don't even know the grade of this. And this is another old credit card, scotch tape with sandpaper. This is 1000 grit, while the other side is with 3000 grit. As you can see, this thing is working, right? And lastly, this is the old popsicle sticks that I use for the 600 grit sandpaper showed you earlier. My tip for you is not to worry about strict rules. The goal is to find a support that feels comfortable and helps you finish your work. Everyone prefers something different. I like to use free things around the house that are small, flat, and easy to hold, but honestly, just try whatever works best for you. Alright, let's move on. Let's make a jewelry from scratch, right? Here I have a pair of 5 centimeters in 16 gauge and a pair of 1 centimeter in 20 gauge. And you have guessed it right. I'm going to be making a pair of stud earrings. Take the 16 gauge wire and make a circle using the ring circle pliers. Once the circle is formed, open it vertically like this and file flat all of the edges. Also, don't forget to file flat one side of the 1 centimeter wire. Next is to close the circle. You want to make sure the whole surface of the two sides of the wire touch properly. Mark the meeting point with a Sharpie to make it easier to see. Before soldering, I'm prepping the borax paste. This is used as a protective layer that stops the metal from getting overheated during soldering. And as you can see, I'm using an old technique, which is using literally a borax stone that I grind on an unglazed dish. I want to apply that paste generously on the pieces that I'm going to solder. On the soldering block, I am laying flat the circle, and with the help of a third hand, the 1 centimeter stick is placed perpendicularly to the circle right on top of the meeting point. This way, I only need to solder the piece one time. Once the installation is steady, you can start soldering. I'm not going into too much detail here. If you are interested to know more about soldering, I can recommend you this video on soldering silver wire into a beautiful jewelry. I will put the video link on the description or here on the screen. Apparently, I'm out of butane. Oops. Here, since we are on the topic, I will show you how to fill up the butane to the torch. You want to connect the two of the container together and place the gas container above the torch so that the liquid can flow down and just press. Shaking both of the container at the end also help. It will distribute the gas evenly. Whoa, I absolutely love this close-up shot. Diary keepers, let's do this. I've changed my mind. This video is just too yummy not to give it the full treatment, right? So, picking up what we left off, that little ball on the right side of the stud is a solder that is half melted. We just need to keep firing until it melts completely and fills both gaps 100%, which it did. So satisfying. Be careful. It's super hot. Normally, you don't have to pick it up right away, but I am impatient. It's super hot here. With the help of the water spray, you can see that it comes off very easily. Into the pickle it goes, and just let it soak until that oxidation clears off and the metal is nice and clean. Fast forward, let's see how this pair of earrings look like after the solder. I saw a comment the other day asking if I can show a raw footage of a piece fresh from the pickle. So here goes.
Qui a mis le croissant, euh, le chauffeur de bus. C'est Bloudoo. Portage sur. Vas-y. Bloudoo. Voilà. Tu veux que je te dise tout le reportage qu'il y a.
Back to work. As you notice, I have a couple of bumps on my circle that I need to get rid of. This drilled bit helped me, but I'm sorry, I really don't even remember the name of this bit. I got them from Lidl. It comes in a variety of drills and sanding drums. The terracotta for a rougher work, and the green one is really for the softer work. I'm going to shape the circle now. I ran it on a mandrel and start hammering using a wooden hammer to make sure that there's no significant scratch in the end. I know that at the end we will sand, but still, I need to really be careful. One last step before sanding is the flattening of the hoops. To accentuate the shape, I want the circle to look rather flat. So I'm hammering it flat. A quick look. This is how the earrings look like. Lots of work to make it shine for sure. I also see a nick somewhere. that needs to be filed off too. And for sure, I need to make the thickness even. Lots of work to do. Ideally, I'll be using this 400 grit sandpaper, but I just noticed that they are a little bit dull. So I'm going to be using the other 400 grit sandpaper. Start by slowly just run across the part that needs to be softened just above here. And also, I'm going to get rid of the bump using the same sandpaper. Once the bumps smoothen out, I'm running the 400 grit sandpaper all over the surface to get rid of the hammer marks. This looks easy and simple and fast. In reality, not really. My personal take. Using 400 grit sandpaper is one of the most crucial, and I spend most of the time using this. So let's compare the two circles here. The one on the left are the one who ran by the 400 grit sandpaper. As you can see, it's smoother, and the one on the right, the hammer marks are very visible. Come back using the terracotta drum bit again to get rid of the bump inside the circle. Diary keepers, I do not have a methodical way of polishing, and to be honest, I just tackle one business at a time. I did not even realize that the bump was there and it's super visible until right now. So, yeah. Quick check before moving on to the next step, which is the 600 grit sandpaper. Okay, let's attack. I would say that once we move past 600, the sanding process will be easier. But is it possible to go back from 600 to 400? Yes, it's very possible. Even you have reached to 1,000 sometimes, you see that the surface is not nice enough. Sometimes they're not smooth enough or level enough that very often we have to go back to 400, and even if it's too rough, all the way down to 250 grit sandpaper. Depends on the work, really. But not this time, thank God. With the 600, I want to make sure to run every surface, not only the rough ones or the ones with holes, like literally all of the surface. This is the result after the 600 grit sandpaper. Here, an example of after the 400, just to give you a clear comparison. On the left is 400 and on the right is 600. Can you see the difference? Because I cannot. You can just feel it with your hands actually. Okay, moving on to the 800 grit sandpaper. Just do exactly the same as you do on the 600. To be honest with you, you don't really have to put too much pressure while sanding like I do here on my video. I don't understand why. It is my bad habit that I cannot get rid of. And in the end, I have sore elbow. So I don't know why I keep on doing that. Look here, don't be confused. I came back to 600 grit sandpaper because I just saw something rough inside the circle that needs to be tackled with the lower grit sandpaper. A quick comparison check. Can you make a difference between the two? I'll tell you now. The left one is the one that is just finished with 800 grit sandpaper. And the one on the right is the one that is just finished with 400 grit sandpaper. Can you see the difference? Okay, moving on really fast. 1,200 grit sandpaper right now. Exactly the same movement. So there's nothing special here, just keep on sanding. I'm taking advantage of the nice sun here after being polished by 1200, and this one is 400. I'm going to the 2000 grit sandpaper here, and as always, just keep on polishing. And as you can see, I'm already impatient to see the result. And it's super hot that day. Alright, done with the 2000. I can see a little bit of spark here. And last but not least, my super favorite one. This is the final polishing stage. I want to take my time and just keep on sanding on that surface, and you will see definitely this result. Ta-da! The result after the last grit sandpaper. Very shiny. And this is the comparison. The left hand side is the before and the right hand side is obviously the after. And definitely, I'm sure that you can see the difference, right? Okay, I have these couple of earrings that I have in my old stock that I would like to repolish. So I have this beautiful oval huggy hoops that is hammered. Next is the extra large front facing hoops that has a satin finish, but I'm going to definitely polish it to make it really shiny. And this one is my favorite one, the classic huggy hoops, also hammered flat. Along with the earrings that I just made, I'm going to polish all of them using the green paste and wash them all in the ultrasonic machine. You'll see what I'm going to do with this, okay? Yep, you have guessed it right. I have prepared a very warm water in the glass jar, and I'm going to put all of them inside of this water. And guess what? Yes, I'm going to oxidize all of these. I put in the drops of silver, and as you can see, you're going to see it right away. The water is going to turn yellow, and when I wait for a couple of minutes, this thing turned black. So satisfying, right? Be careful though, they smell really bad. Okay, I'm preparing the cold water next to the piece for the rinse. It's going to lock the oxidize process, I guess. I have to admit that the dew look a little bit smoky, but it will be fine once I apply the Renaissance wax on. The most important is that the color is solid black and unified. If you see that some of the part has more oxidation as the other part, then you need to redo the process. Here I am applying the Renaissance wax, which is a microcrystalline paste. I'm using this to protect the finish to help prevent tarnish and oxidation, but this is funny because I help prevent to deoxidize the metal because it creates a thin invisible barrier. It will preserve the surface and it will seal any patina or polish. So basically, whatever finishing you have on your metal, this wax will help seal it and keep it is for as long as it can. By the way, I only do this treatment for the oxidized silver and never on silver or gold filled. Here we go, diary keepers. I did get a bit carried away, I admit, by turning 4 of my old designs into the oxidized finishes. But the most important thing is I finally paid my dues and filmed the full process by showing you exactly how I sand silver jewelry from fabrication all the way to finishing. I'm so happy. I still have plenty to learn by myself, but this is what I can share for now. I hope you'll pick up something useful from this video. Here is the medium-sized front-facing hoops that we made together from scratch. Aren't they gorgeous? I love the flat surface thanks to the hammering and a lot of sanding, of course. Quick question, do you like the shiny finish or oxidize? Let me know in the comment below. And last but not least, I want to show you the comparison of the two finishing, and the best way to do it is to put it on, right? So here goes. Just in case you cannot make a difference because of the too much of the filter that I add. Sorry. The one on the left is the oxidized version and the one on the right is the mirror finished. I had so much fun making this clip regardless of the heat. Diary Keepers, thank you for watching. Hope that you learned a lot from this week's video. Stay creative, be kind to yourself and others. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!